Like I tell the parents in the parent meeting, 150 kids, 11 kids start. It's 139 kids that aren't going to start. And what are we going to do to add value to their life when they're not a starter?
Hi there, it is Bobbie Jo, Real Talk with Bobbie Jo. Thank you so much for joining us. Today I have an amazing special guest, Mr. Keith Ross. And who are you?
Well, that's a good question, Bobbie Jo. I'm a husband and a father and a teacher and a football coach. All done down in the Sumner Valley, so I call myself the shepherd of the valley.
I love that. You happen to be a high school coach for a 4A school that just won your second back-to-back state championship.
That's right.
I cannot even believe that. Like, how rare is that?
It's only been done 2 other times at 4A level, so it is rare. Skyline and Kentwood have done it, and Lake Stevens, and
Amazing.
then so it's not done very often. It's hard to sustain that type of program for a 2-year period because guys are graduating and things like that. So, after our first one, which was an amazing feat for us, we'd been trying this. I've been at it for 25 years. And then after you win your first one, you're all excited, and then people start talking about, can you win back to back? And at that time, we're like, yeah, we can, because we had most of our team coming back. So, that was our goal the whole year. We got derailed a little bit, but we stayed the course and played well enough at the end of the season to win another one and, kind of cement, our team in kind of, laurels of 4A high school as one of the better high school teams that's been in the state of Washington.
That's incredible. Well, when Austin was playing for you, I think that his sophomore year, you guys didn't lose a single game
Correct.
until you were in the playoffs.
Correct.
And I think it was the same thing the next year, his junior year. But how do you emotionally? Like, I know how emotional it is when you lose when you're in the playoffs, but how does the morale stay in the locker room when you keep winning and you keep winning?
Yeah. Well, you're right. When your sons played for me, that might have been as good as 2-year run we've ever had. I think we went 12-0 and then like 11-1.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like 24-1 over a 2-year period, but we lost in the playoffs to really good Linden. Remember Linden?
Yes, I do remember.
They beat us those both years. And, as a coach that hadn't won one or been, at that level, you just are like happy with where you got to. I was really happy with that team. But then as you sit back and think, our goal is to try to win a state championship every year. And, how do we prepare better to try to have a chance to win it? And, I've learned over the years, like that 2 years, and then we had a couple other years where we went to the semis and just didn't make the plays that we needed to make. And this last 2 years, we got back there and then, we made plays. And is it luck? I don't think luck is luck. I think you create your own luck. Mm-hmm. But yes, we had lucky things happen in our favor, because when your sons played for me, those were as good as teams as we had also. We just didn't make a play at the end of the year to get to that state championship game. And so, it's just really worked out in our favor the last 2 years.
That's amazing. Do you think that you changed your coaching strategy, or do you change in your coaching team at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's as any profession, coaching is a profession. And I think that if you're not trying to get better every year and reflect on each season on how it went and what you can do better, I think you're letting your community down, your school down, and your kids down. I think as a coach, we need to work hard to make improvements. And, there's no manual when you get started in football. It's just like parenting. I remember bringing home our kids and I was like, now what do we do? Exactly. And I think young coaches, we know football or we played football, but we don't know how to run a business. And a football team's a business. It's not just football. It's, rallying the community and having your standards, and, you got to monitor grades and behavior, and you got to deal with parents, and you got to deal with administrators and booster clubs. And, so I think young coaches, that's an area that we struggle at. Like when I started at Sumner, I knew football. and that's all I knew. And so I really just relied on football. But to build an elite program, you have to have so much more. And I think over the years, coaches either get better or they actually burn out, you know, and leave. And that's one of the things that I'm really interested in now is mentoring young coaches that really could have great careers and impact thousands of kids. I want to get them before they get to that point where they step out of the game. You know, my high school coaches are incredible mentors to me. Some of them are still alive, and I still talk to them. And I think back, none of them left. None of them left if they had, you know, if they had kids. They managed their family, their jobs, and the coaching profession. And if they didn't do that, they would not have impacted me the way that they did, and I probably wouldn't be a coach. So I really want to try to keep the young coaches. I want to help impart them with some wisdom to try to be able to manage those three facets of coaching because it's hard. It takes a lot out of you.
I can imagine. I imagine too that has to be hard because not every athlete is going to learn the same way either, and they all have different backstories or different things they're bringing to the team, right?
Absolutely. And I think that I'm a special ed teacher, and I think that has really helped me become a better coach because that's what I do every day. Kids learn, especially in the special ed world, they learn at different levels or they learn different ways. And, you know, when I grew up in the 70s and 80s, you did it this one way. And if it didn't work, you got out.
Right.
So I think that being a special ed teacher has really helped me become a better coach because you're right. You know, early on when I was coaching, I had to make everyone do the same and be the same and act the same and you know, you have to all do this. And now I really individualize, you know, we have standards that we don't break. But now I individualize how I may coach a kid. Some kids I can coach hard, some kids I can't coach hard. You know, some kids learn by me showing them on the field, other kids learn by watching film, you know. And so, yes, I think you have to find the best way to be able to teach the kids what you need them to learn. And it's not one way or the highway like it used to be.
Well, for sure. If you could go back and say something to the young Ross when you first started, like what would your advice be to him?
Kick your ego.
Kick your ego.
Yeah. I mean, I talked to young coaches and, you know, I was a good football player and I played in college and we were really successful. And then I become a coach and I think that we're just going to be great because I'm great.
Right.
And then it usually doesn't work out. And so then you're at a crossroads are like, can I change? Do I want to change? You know, some kids, I think young coaches don't even realize that they need to change. Because the faster you learn that it's not about you, it's about the kids. You're a high school football coach. It's about the kids. And I think when I really realized that and what do I need to do to give the kids a better experience, I became a way better coach. And it's not just about football or winning. I think you can win more games when you don't make it about just winning.
Well, I know that just from my experience that a lot of kids are down in your office a lot, hanging out with you. I know personally for our kids too, you help them through some problems or academic problems or when they got in trouble in school. But I really do personally feel that for our kids, you were there for them on or off the field. I mean, do you feel like you can continue to do that for all for your team going forward?
You have to. I think if you're not doing that part, you're really not effective high school coach. I think that that's probably the most important thing is building relationships and showing kids you care about them.
For sure.
And now that we have 175 kids on our football team, I got to care about every single kid. I can't just care about the good kids or the starters. I think young coaches, we get fooled into we can only give all our attention to the good kids that are going to help us win. And I think as you grow older, you realize that that's not the outcome that we're looking for. The outcome we're looking for is to try to create these young kids into responsible human beings.
For sure.
And we finally decided while we're doing that, let's win some football games.
I love that.
And I think when we started to combine those two things, we got better. I think the kids play harder for you. They, that saying, they run through a wall. I think if you show kids that you love them for what they have and not what, you think they should have or how good they are, just love them for who they are at that time in their life. I think that they're going to play much harder for you. We have so many kids that kids have to have a role on our team. Like I tell the parents in the parent meeting, 150 kids, 11 kids start. It's 139 kids that aren't going to start. And what are we going to do to add value to their life when they're not a starter? It's hard to play football at Sumner High. You mentioned that I'm checking grades and I'm checking behavior and we have to look into all aspects of their life and guide them in all of them, And so being a football coach, that gives me the vehicle to embrace, that role as the shepherd. And, a shepherd doesn't just take care of his 3 best sheep.
Right.
He takes care of everybody. So one day I was sitting at my desk and some kids were in trouble and some kids were bad grades. And I was like, man. And then I thought, a shepherd brings in his whole flock and takes care of them. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. I got long hair. I take care of the whole valley. And so then, I don't know if it's cool that I named myself the shepherd.
Oh, I remember the T-shirts.
Yeah,
the T-shirts.
But I really believe that's my role, is to bring my whole flock in. And
I love that.
It's a big flock, 170 kids, 500 parents, 1,000 kids at the school. Our football team has really bought into the school, the community. We realize how lucky we are with all the support from past parents, and everyone's rooting for us.
Oh, yes.
And so it's important to be able to have a team and kids that the community can be proud of.
Oh, absolutely. It is amazing. It's amazing too to have so many people go to the games, and it's incredible.
Isn't it the craziest thing ever?
You're saying too, like you're used to being interviewed after the games, but it's like after every game, like it's hard even to find your player or you, because everyone just rushes the field.
It's amazing.
Yes, but it's like that all the time.
It wasn't like that, Bobbie Jo.
I can't even imagine.
You don't know what happened in the late 90s when I was coaching. We'd win 2 games a season, and the stadium would have, 20% capacity, and then we'd come out at halftime and 10% of that was gone.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
it was a hard row when we were early on, and now we look back and we think, wow, like last year, state championship, the first one, I remember late in the game, we had a timeout. And instead of imparting football wisdom, I told them to turn around and look into the stands. And look.
Give me chills.
Yes. Look what I just got chills too. Look what we've done. They say that's the biggest crowd they've ever had. They think we had 10,000 people at that game. And I thought this year there would be less people because we were repeats. Mm-hmm. No.
Oh, that's incredible.
And I love our games at home. After we play, we usually get together. I used to talk to them, and then I realized that they really don't care what I have to say after the game, So now the administration is over at the gate with the students. And they look, and I just go like this, and I let the students run out on the field, because I think that's more important than me saying, great job, or we didn't do this, or we did this. Right. I think that community, like you said, it is chaos. Mm-hmm. Like I can't even find my wife half the time. That's my number one goal after game is to find Tracy and give her a hug. But I just sometimes sit back and look when those students come running out, and it just makes me smile. Like, look at this. Look at what we've created here.
And how cool too, like connecting the students there in the stands, to the field too, like.
And I love that they have their theme of the week. Uh-huh. We didn't have anything like that when I was in high school. No, we just wore our flannel shirts, I think. But I think it's so cool that we have a theme of the week, and social media has made it really fun and easy. It's sent out to everybody, and my wife even asked what the theme of the week is. And to see all the kids in their neon yellow or their pink or their camouflage or
For sure.
whiteouts and blackouts. I think it's amazing, and the support that we have from the school and the administration is so important. I think as it is with any business or job, is you need to feel supported by those that are above you.
For sure.
Okay, and I talk to a lot of coaches, young coaches that say they're not jiving with their AD and their principal is always, and I'm blessed and lucky that our AD and principal are so supportive. And as an employee, I think that they support you and give you that freedom to be yourself. That's how you flourish. And I think bosses could, learn from that,
For sure.
support your people and give them that chance to become who they need to be.
Absolutely. You got lucky though with Baines being
Absolutely.
your director, but he came back as your
Absolutely.
So he came back as the principal.
Absolutely.
But you guys already had a relationship.
I would not be where I'm at without Jeff Baines.
That's awesome.
He was the most supportive AD that you could ever imagine, and I went through some hard times early on. I thought there was years they should have fired me, or they could have fired me, or they could have said we need to move on, and he just always just poured into me. He buys me books and gives me books, and we talk and meet about things, and then he left, and it was devastating, but it wasn't devastating to my career because he had already molded me into, and I made it without him for I think 3 or 4 years. But then when he came back, so he was my AD, and now he's my principal, so he's my main boss. And you're right. I don't think I would still be at Sumner High if he wasn't there. And that's a great example of a boss pouring out into his employees and making them better.
That's awesome.
And I always give him a lot of credit because, like you said, his support is instrumental in my development.
He's just overall a really kind person too.
Well, he's the model of servant leadership.
I love that.
I think he's so well respected by everybody that works for him because he just works harder than everybody else. He's up at 3:07
Oh, yuck.
to work out. Because he read it somewhere that 3:07 was like the magic time, and I'm like, well, that is not my magic time.
I wouldn't want to be
6:30.
He's waking me up every
Yeah,
morning.
no, I know. But he gets to work early. He works out. He gets ready to go. So he's a perfect example. And I talk to our kids about servant leadership because sometimes, like when I played football, we thought we were really cool and we were better than everyone else, and everyone's there just to service us. But now that I'm an older coach, and I realize that we need that support from the community and the town and administration and the kids in the school, that we talk about servant leadership all the time. And we have 2 awards on our team that we give out at the end of the year, and they are about servant leadership. And I feel those are more important than the MVP of the football team.
Wow.
Because I think those servant leadership roles, they're going to be our bosses someday. Mm-hmm. And I tell the team that all the time. You star running back, you'll probably work for him. Because he has all the skills that are important in. And so we really want to make sure our kids understand that how much we honor that, and how much, to build a team, do you have a team?
I have a team.
How important is your team?
It's very, very important.
Right? You wouldn't be as successful, right?
Exactly.
And neither would we if we didn't have all those kids showing up to practice every day to play on the scout team. Do you know what the scout team is, Bobbie Jo?
The scout are those the younger players?
Yeah, and their role is to pretend they're the other team.
I didn't know that. Oh yes.
Yeah. And guess what the starting team does to the scout team?
Beats them up.
Yes. Every day. And we know that we have to respect that scout team now because we need them. Mm-hmm. We just don't want them. We need them. If they're not there, we couldn't practice.
Right.
So I teach our kids, yes, let's play great football and maybe beat them and knock them down, but we're always trying to help them up and thanking them, which I don't think other varsity teams do to their scout team.
No.
But I've learned you need everyone on your team to feel like they're part of something.
For sure.
And so the scout team there's a scout team on every, like when I went to college my freshman year, I was on the scout team, and the varsity team
Beat on ya.
beat on us every day. And we do that now, but we also respect them and we honor them. We have one of our awards is the, it's the Scout Team Player of the Week, but we bought a chain
Oh,
of this
cool.
gold chain that they wear at school. So we
Cool.
want to make them feel important.
For
Even
sure.
though they have a lesser role, we want to make everybody feel important, because you're right. Our trainer and our camera people, we have camera girls that we see at school, and we high five them. And, I think the team will run the best when everyone feels valued and important.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that's the shepherd or the CEO or the boss. That's their job, is to make sure that their team is feeling respected and running at full, capacity to make your Bobbie Jo cells better.
I love that. Well, I love it too because in thinking of what you're saying with the scout team, but if they're giving them that respect, then when they move up and those guys move on, and those guys are going to be giving those guys respect because they felt that way. Indoor mentoring people, right?
Absolutely.
Tracy Skinner, when Austin graduated, Nico came to Austin's grad party, and at that time I didn't know Skinner all that well, but Nico came with a card from his mom, but she wrote this really long letter in it, but the letter was saying, like, she really appreciated Austin
Taking care of Skinner.
taking care of Skinner and, being there for him and teaching him the ways and talking to him afterwards on bad days, and I thought it was so sweet. I thought it was so amazing that my son impacted somebody that their mom felt compelled to write a letter. I'm like, oh,
It's amazing. And you just gave me goosebumps again, because that's what we're teaching kids, that they can have an impact on these younger kids. And I want them to be good role models and show them how it's done. And that's why Skinner became such a good player, because Austin showed him how to do it. And, we're big weight room guys. And I always tell the older kids that you have to take these younger kids under your wing and show them how it's done. And people always say, what's your culture, or how do you do it? And I tell them our culture is kid driven.
I
And
love
I think
it.
that's the best culture, because I don't have to drive it.
Right.
20 years ago, I had to find you in the hallway and say, you've got to get in the weight room. You have to do this. And now kids just are following the leaders of the older kids.
For sure.
And just like Austin impacted Skinner, and then Skinner impacted, somebody. And that person impacted somebody. And that's how you build a legacy.
I love it.
And I'm glad you got to experience that. You're probably thinking, this mom is writing a letter about how great Austin was. Because Austin was this big killer, bearded, scary looking, great football player. But we made it important that he sees the value of servant leadership.
For sure.
And that makes me feel good that it's working.
Oh yeah, 100%. So you have Luke on your coaching staff now. Luke is your son, who was awesome protected
Yes,
on the
very
field.
well.
Yes, but what's it been like having Luke on the team? And also, I saw Luke for a brief second in the hall one time, and he said that he's aspiring to be coaching for college. And if you can share with us how that's going.
Yes. So you're right. I got, as a coach with two sons, you hope that you get a chance to coach your kids, because not every football coach's kids are football players.
For sure.
So I got that chance to coach both my sons at different periods. They weren't together ever, which was nice. And, they both are different, in their abilities, and they're just different people. So I had to be really conscious about making sure I understood that they're both two different people, and I got to treat them differently than I would. And then, and it was Luke was on those teams that made it to the semifinals, and we lost close games. And I remember probably the most impactful moment in my whole coaching career was down in Vancouver at Camas after we lost. And Luke came up to me in tears and said he was sorry that he couldn't get me to the state championship. And it was a great moment. I just hugged him and said, hey, it is what it is, man, and thanks for... Then, 6 years later, after his college career, he gets to come home and coach with me and win a state championship. And he said that wasn't the state championship he always thought he would get. He thought he would get it as my quarterback, but he got it to me as a coach. And for me to go out there every day and walk out to practice and see Luke running around like he's a kid. He wears cleats to practice. He's still, young coaches wear cleats because they think they're still... to see Luke in his cleats and with his energy and his optimism, and I smile every single day that I walk out there. That he's out there, and he was only going to do it for 1 year because he was going to get on with his life. He has a business degree, so he was going to go into business, or he's always thought about coaching. So he said, Dad, I want to come home and coach for you for 1 year. So then after we won the state championship, I'm like, okay, where are you going? And he's like, well, Dad, I don't know if I really want to leave if we got a chance to go back to back.
Well, good for him.
He's been here a whole nother year. And we did go back to back. Now I've heard him say, well, Dad, what about 3 peats? So
why not?
Yes. So he wants to pursue what I was going to pursue. It just didn't work out for me. I coached in college, but then when I met Tracy, my number one thing growing up was I wanted to be a great husband and father. And I learned that from my own father. And that was the priority of my life. And so college coaching, sometimes I think that becomes your priority over your family. So
there's a lot of travel, right?
Yeah, and you're just gone. You're at the office all the time. Your mind's always thinking football. So I was coaching at college when Tracy and I got engaged, and then I decided to come back and be a high school teacher and coach, which was the greatest move I've ever made. And so I'm trying to see if Luke wants to do that, but he wants to pursue college like I did. He's young enough and doesn't have any ties, which is great. My dream is that he gets a job somewhere, and then when I retire, that I could go there in the fall and stay in an apartment and go to practice and go to games. That would be my dream. So it's been special having my whole family involved.
Oh, for sure.
My daughter's probably my biggest fan. She just is kind of, she keeps to herself. She's, watches all our games, and she's done data work for us, breaking down film. And, she's a teacher now in Sumner. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Good
she's
for
a
her.
third grade teacher, and her kids, you're Coach Ross's daughter. They think that is super cool. So I've gone into her classroom before, and it's fun to see third graders act like I'm something super special.
Super celebrity.
Right. So that's fun. And then, I think, as well as anybody that, to excel at any profession, job, anything, you need a supportive partner.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%.
And they have to see what you're doing. And Tracy, it was hard early on because, when you have kids and you don't really know what you're doing, and I'm gone all the time and I'm thinking about football, and she's at home, and then she's mad that I'm not there. And, I think that, we finally came to the conclusion that, teaching and coaching are my purpose in life, and that she's going to partner with me and become my partner in this. And that happened about 15 years ago. She was always but now she's totally bought in.
I love it.
She hasn't missed a game. She loves the kids to come over. She cooks dinner. She cares about them. She knows who they are. She she sees the impact that I have on kids, and she's totally just partnered up with me, and it's just made our life so much better.
Awesome. How long have you guys been married now?
28 years. Yeah, 1998. We got married. We bought our first house, and I got a job.
Wow.
All in June.
All in
98.
June.
Yeah, they say those are three of the most stressful things. Now, buying the house wasn't stressful to me because I was just oblivious. I'm just like signing, but it was stressful to her. And then, that's when I got my job at Sumner. And people say, did you go to Sumner? Did you play to Sumner? Nothing. Sumner just called me and offered me a job. And I really told Tracy that we'd be there for 1 or 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Because I didn't know anything about Sumner. It wasn't my place.
It is now.
Oh my gosh!
I think if you cut yourself, it's come out Sumner.
But I love Sumner, and I think it's a special place. And like I bought a house downtown, 3 or 4 blocks from the school. It's my place.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the community outpour too. Like way before you were winning all these Super Bowls. Like having like the first dinner, team dinner, and having the church put it on, and then all the Thursday nights, I don't know how many meals we made and cooking down to school, but I loved it. I loved being a part.
It's special.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is a special place, and I make sure the kids understand that it's not like this everywhere else. I think kids think every high school is like us. I think the kids think every high school has 50 moms feeding 175
Right.
kids every Thursday, and that they turn up and look into the stands and see 5,000 people. They think that's normal, and it's not.
Right.
And my job is to make sure that they understand that it's not normal and that we're lucky, and that we need to provide a great service and product to our town because they deserve it.
For
and
sure.
That's our first state championship. I read something where it was about teams that couldn't win the championship and were close like we were. And it said that you need to have something bigger than yourselves. You can't just want to win it for just your team. And I thought, we need to win it for the community. This community has supported us for years. And so 2 years ago, when we won it, that was our goal, that it wasn't about us, just us.
I love that.
And that we wanted to win it for something greater than ourselves. And look what it did to our community. It transformed it into this proud, community. I love the signs in the yards, state championship, Sumner football, just the fans that we have that travel the games and support us and have been through thick and thin. I remember going to Starbucks some days when we're 2-8, like embarrassed. Like I was embarrassed, but people didn't care. They're like, "Hey, coach, how you doing?" Every year, how's your team going to be? I'd say, we're going to be great. We would be bad. But this town has been amazing. And I think small town high school football is amazing.
Oh, for sure.
I grew up in Enumclaw, and I played football in Ellensburg. And now I get Sumner, where the high school is on Main Street. And I think that adds something really special. We're not on some highway somewhere.
Right.
Or not downtown where nobody lives. We are smack dab in small town suburbia.
I love it.
And that's what Friday Night Lights is, when the town rallies around their team. Win or lose, they're always there for us, and that's amazing.
Well, even during COVID, like we were all outside the fence, like hanging on the fence trying to see in because we couldn't go into the stands. But
that was so crazy that people bought little pictures of themselves to put in the stands. We sold. People were putting their dog pictures up there, and then somebody would actually put them up in the stands. But you're right that COVID when the people were putting up ladders.
Yeah, that was
my
husband had a ladder.
So I was always worried somebody was going to fall. But That's fun because I'm sure I probably said, look over there at our crazies. And you guys were crazies. But it's a good crazy. Like this last year in our semifinal game at Sumner in overtime against Chihuahua, somebody said, look, and the road there next to Fred Meyer, the cars were all stopped. The doors were open and they were at the fence.
Oh my goodness.
And guess what? Nobody got mad. Nobody fought. Nobody honking horns. Everyone was like, what's going on? Sumner High's in the semifinals and it's in overtime. And they just shut the road down and stood at the fence.
Oh my gosh, that
And
gives me
I'm
chills.
like, yeah.
That's
I'm
so
like,
cool.
now that is awesome. I forgot about COVID, the ladders.
Oh, I didn't forget.
The A-frame ladders, people are standing up there. Chairs everywhere.
Yes.
That was fun. See, and that's special.
Oh, it definitely is special. It's all about trying to get your spot on the where you can see from those little benches.
Right.
Yes, because we were safer from COVID out there than when we were in the benches. The gosh darn government.
Yes.
So I had some football questions for
Yeah.
you. So in the 2024 game, your first championship game, when you guys faked the punt.
Yes.
What was going through your mind, and who called that play?
All right, that was a great question. So I'm a fake punt guy. I like fake punts. I think that the other team needs to, always prepare for it. We practice them all the time. Like every single day we practice fake punts. And then the kids are like, why do we do this all the time? You never call it in a game, And that's why. Because on fourth down, late in the game, it was tied, right?
Yes.
It's 4th and 4. And they gave us the look where I'm supposed to call a fake punt. But you're not supposed to call it on your own 37-yard line in a championship game at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. But what I thought was if we punt the ball, they're going to get a drive and they're going to kick a field goal and they're going to beat us. And I thought, this is our chance. I didn't ask anybody. I didn't say, should we do this? I looked out there and I called it. Okay? And the personal protector, the guy that I call it to, and then he lets the team know, he went like this. And then the snapper, Mason Thayer, said when he called the fake punt, he was like, what? And so then self-doubt creeped in.
Oh, for sure.
And I got nervous that we're not going to get this and we're going to lose the game and I'm going to be a fool. That all happened within 3 seconds. And I remember whistling, trying to call it off. I actually tried to call it off, but it had already been called. And then they ran it and we got it. We ran a couple more plays and kicked the winning field goal. And the best part about that game, Bobbie Jo, was Camus tried to freeze us, at the end with the field goal. Mm-hmm. And so the team comes over. And that's when we were looking up at the stands. But I just said to the guys, I said, oh my gosh, we're going to win the state championship. And that's when we kicked the field goal to win it. And it was great. But, I've never been afraid to do things that are a little out of the box. But you don't want to do stuff way out of the box that's going to hurt your team. Like if we didn't get that, we probably would have lost. And then I would be kicking myself forever, right?
Right.
But now I can say, hey, I had a little, But yeah, you're right. And I don't know what the other coaches would have said. I didn't actually care at that point.
So did you tell the team afterwards that you were actually trying to call it off?
Yes.
And what did they say?
Really? Because once they looked back, they're kind of done.
Right.
And I kind of whistled like this. So I really wasn't trying because I could have probably yelled.
You can be loud.
But I think that I was doing that for myself. Like if it didn't work, I could have said I tried to call it off, kind of handicapping myself. But I'm glad that they got the call and they made it. And, and I've run into that coach from Camus.
Okay.
He's a great coach. And I saw him at an award banquet, and he told me that fake punt still haunts him to this day.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Because they weren't expecting it at all.
No. And they had lined up fairly well the whole game to our punt where I couldn't have called it. And that late in the game, he said, there's no way he's calling a fake punt. So he lined up in a way that would, positively help them, not really defense against us. And so they gave me the look, and I took it. And he really, it's hard for him because he said that's the play that changed the whole
That
play of
changed the game.
And I think we can all learn from just take a chance once in a while.
Oh, for sure.
Calculated chance.
Right.
But, to move up in your career or make a big move, you got to take chances here and there. And it worked out.
That's crazy, though. Like, talk about stomach turning moments, right?
Well, yeah, because he got 6 yards. We needed 4. And then everyone on our sidelines didn't know, they didn't know I had called it. So they're all like, what's going on? And then when we realized it was a first down. Now, I don't know. This year, we tried to kick a game-winning field goal, and our holder got up and ran off and tried to throw a ball because he bobbled the snap.
Oh.
And my wife said to me after the game, why'd you call a fake field goal? And I said, oh my gosh, that's what it looked like. Because when you bobble the kick, you're supposed to get up and at least, But I did not call a fake field goal this game. I thought we could make it, but it's just worked out. And that's what I said when your sons played for me. We were close. We could have won state championships, especially with Austin's team being 12-0. And, we just didn't make the play that needed to be made, And we made them this year, and we made them 2 years in a row. And, people say, oh, that's luck. It's not luck. We worked for that.
Oh, for sure.
You create your own luck, And I think that we had luck fall into our favor, but that's from our hard work and create it. When you become a great realtor, it's not because you just sit around and don't do anything.
By far.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're out working, and your business is the same. The people that work the hardest are probably the most successful, right?
For sure.
Because not everyone's just lining up to buy a house from you.
No.
Right?
For
you
sure.
gotta find them.
You got to find them.
And you got to work.
You do have to work. That's one of my biggest pet peeves when you get, for myself when I get in contract, and like getting in contract's the easy part. We got to get our clients to the closing line.
Yeah.
And then I'll have these other agents, they ghost you. They ghost me. I'm like, I call them like, hey, where's our addendum?
Right.
Where's our addendum?
Right.
Where's our addendum?
Right.
And they're like,
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, we'll get it to you, Bobbie Jo.
Yeah. No, I know. And I mean, to be great at anything, you got to work hard.
Show up.
You got to do things. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Show up.
Part of winning the day is showing up. And, we're famous for our weight room. And guess what our motto is? Show up. Lift. I don't even care how you lift or what you do. It's showing up and be consistent. And I think to be successful in life, as a parent, as anything, a business owner, a worker, you got to show up.
For sure.
Consistently.
Consistently.
Gosh, I'm glad that, even as a parent or a husband or a wife, right? You got to show up. Our kids that aren't doing well in school, they don't show up enough.
Good point.
We could do a whole...
We could do a podcast on show
showing
up.
Good, but you're right. Show up where you need to be.
Yes.
And I tell when my kids get in trouble at school, it's because they're not where they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be in math class and they're out in the parking lot or something. And then they try to justify it. And I'm like, no, because you're not where you're supposed to be.
For sure.
You're supposed to be at practice at 3:00, and not out on the sidewalk doing something.
Yes.
So, showing up is winning the battle. And I always talked to people. I learned this from John Norland, our great leadership teacher. He said, you don't have a great day, you make a great day.
Good. That's awesome.
And that's my motto every single day.
It is about perspective, isn't it?
Yes. And when my kids ask me how I am at school, they, how are you? I said, fantastic, every single time. They're like, what happens when you're not fantastic? I still say I'm fantastic. You don't want to hear, oh, I'm tired and I had a bad morning. That doesn't matter.
Right.
So I teach kids now to say they're fantastic.
I like that.
Because you can convince yourself that you're fantastic even when you're not maybe on.
For sure.
So I love it at school. I say that every time. I'm fantastic.
I love that.
And then I tell people, make it a great day. Because John Norland told me, you don't just show up and have a great day. You don't just show up and become a great real estate agent, right?
For sure.
You got to make it happen, just like in coaching.
Cole was having a bad day there day. His truck was having a problem, but he was saying called and had told me about this problem. But he was lucky he found a part somewhere. But the part was a crappy part. But he's gonna rig it up and change it to the
Sure,
part.
that's what Cole
But,
does.
Yes, but in the conversation, I kept saying to him, I'm so glad you were able to find a part." And then he's saying he's gonna change it. I'm like, "Well, I'm so glad that you have the smarts to change the part."
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, I'm so glad, Bobbie Jo, that you can always find the positive in things."
Right. But see, I mean, you can go through life with always a negative spin, always. Or you can go with a positive spin.
For
and
sure.
I think that's going to determine, your path in life.
For sure.
And life's going to hit you.
It definitely
Right?
does hit you.
And we talk about getting punched in the mouth all the time as a football team. Things aren't going to go our way. And how are you going to handle it? And how are you going to get over it? And I love football that every play happens every 30 seconds and it lasts 6 seconds. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
So the average football play from snap to whistle is 6 seconds.
That's it? It feels like so much longer.
Yes. So we are learning to be 6-second warriors. When this ball snapped, we are on. And when the whistle blows, we are off. We're not pushing people and talking and making fools of ourselves. We're getting ready for the next 6 seconds.
That's really smart.
And I think that, like Cole, he had to get ready to diagnose what was wrong with his truck. Then he had to get the part, even though it wasn't the perfect part. Then he had to be able to fix it.
Right.
He could have said, "Oh my gosh, I can't go to work today," or "I can't do something." But I think that people don't handle adversity very well. There's a lot of babies out there, and they're always "woe me," and that's just your choice to make this into a bad life or a negative life when you could spin it and make it a great day, even though it's not a great day. You have a great day every day.
I feel like most days are great days.
Yeah, because you make them great days, right? Do you have things go wrong?
Oh, for sure. For
Right.
sure.
I mean, my guys fumble,
Yeah.
or they get a penalty, and guess what? We got to get ready for the next 6 seconds. We don't have time to cry and whine.
I like that.
And I think that's how I kind of go about my life. My wife says, "Oh, I wrecked the car." I'm like, "Okay, it's okay. We'll get it fixed." We don't worry about things that are out of our control.
Yes. Poor Tracy.
I know.
How long ago was that?
Yeah, somebody backed into her, ripped her bumper off.
Well, if someone backed into her, that wasn't her fault.
Yeah, but she was kind of scared, and I was like, "No worries.
Oh.
It's a car."
Good
My
point.
dad always taught me that material possessions don't matter.
It's true, though.
It's your people. Because I wrecked my dad's car one night when I was in high school, and I came home and I went and woke him up. I said, "Dad, I need to talk to you." So we went out in the kitchen, and I said, "I wrecked your car." And he said, "Is anyone hurt?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "Tell me about it in the morning." And I was like, wow.
Okay.
He does not care about his car because it's not a person. And that was a great, lesson to learn.
Yeah, defining moment. Like,
Yeah.
it stuck with you all this time.
Right. I mean, if bad things happen to things that aren't my people, it's okay. And I've learned a lot of great lessons, and I hope, as a coach and a teacher, that I can impart great lessons into my kids. I hope that Cole, I maybe had something into that where he knows things are going to go bad, and he can pout about it or he can make it better.
For sure.
Because we teach kids that on the football field and in the weight room. The weight room, I love the weight room. You get what you get out of the weight room. If you go in there and don't work hard, you're not going to get.
Big guns.
Yes. So the weight room is a great life lesson.
It is.
If you become a real estate agent and don't work hard,
You don't sell a lot.
you're not going to sell a lot. And if you go in the weight room and don't lift very hard, you're not going to get guns, like you said. And
I know,
if
like,
you,
my kids
if you
got-
go out to practice and don't work hard, you're not going to get better. And if you don't get better, the team's not going to get better.
For sure.
So That's that whole buy-in of the whole team serving each other. I love my saying mass in motion. And that's what we include with the parents and the community. Everyone's pushing Sumner to be the best it can be. And that's what's maybe gotten us over these humps. And I tell the parents when they come to football games, they can choose to yell and scream and say how dumb we are and this, or they can come and cheer. And I said, what's going to make us better? If our goal is to be the best Sumner we can be, is you coming and complaining and yelling at the officials and yelling at the coaches making us better?
No.
Then I say, well, then come and cheer.
Let's do it.
Yes, let's do it.
If you have any of your former players, or thinking of any of your former players, what's one thing that you really hope that they took from you?
Well, that is a great question, because I hope the number one thing they took from me is to be a great husband.
I love that.
And then be a great father.
I wasn't expecting that, but
That's
I love that.
That's my number one goal, Bobbie Jo.
I love that.
I bring Tracy around as much as I can, and I hug her and I kiss her and I tell her I love her, and I want to be a good role model for those kids, that number one goals are husbands and fathers, because that's what's going to change our culture.
For sure.
Okay? And you thought it was going to be some lesson in football.
I thought so.
So we use some lessons in football, adversity, working hard, showing up, being consistent. But I want them to have all those skills as a father and a husband. I think being a father is the number one priority of all our men in our country. And I coach and teach kids that don't have fathers. And mothers are amazing. Don't get me wrong. We could not even survive without our mothers, especially as crazy warriors. We have to love our mothers, because sometimes I tell our kids, your mom might be the only person that loves you right now. Don't forget that. But I am not afraid to show outwardly how much I love my wife and respect her, or my kids. And I want to show those kids how to be a warrior that still can be a good person.
I love that.
And one of the moms made me a sweatshirt this year, because I love the term humble warrior, because we want to kick your butt on Friday night. We train year round to kick your butt, but we want to do it with some humility. Okay? And that's what I'm trying to create, is the humble warrior coming out of Sumner High. Somebody that's tough and is strong and driven and can face adversity, but then I want them to be humble and be great fathers and husbands and workers and bosses and citizens and members of society. But then they also have that ability to be a warrior when they need to be a warrior.
For sure.
Now, true warriors don't need to be warriors all the time.
No.
We have enough people in this world that are not nice people, and not good people.
To be bullies.
Yes. And if you're truly a warrior, you don't need to act like a warrior. You don't need to tell people you're a warrior. You just need to be a warrior when you need to be a warrior.
For sure.
And when it's not warrior time, then I want you to be a great person.
Yes.
Okay? And teenagers, those are two things that kind of bump heads with them. But I think I try to role model, that we're tough and we're the toughest people in the whole state, and we're going to try to destroy your soul in the football game only. And afterwards, we're going to shake your hand and thank you for the ability to play you.
Well, for sure.
We're not going to act like fools.
I love that.
And I don't want them to act like fools when they leave the high school. So I'm glad that I can try to be a role model for husband, father.
It's not what I was expecting, but I love it.
But that's truly what it's about.
I love it. I love it. Good on you. Bam. Blow it up.
And win some games.
And win a few games. Real quick, how many people, you said you didn't have very many people leave last year. So how many kids got to experience that championship twice, back to back?
Yeah. So we just got our rings ordered.
Oh, gosh.
And the number one thing that we wanted on there was the back-to-back. So one side says back-to-back, and the other side has 2 trophies.
Oh, way cool.
Way cool. and the V for the Valley.
Love it.
Last year we did the SS for Sumner Spartans, but this year it was just, it was about the Valley. It was about the community. So I love that the top is the big V.
Love it.
So we did have a lot of kids that got to experience back to back. And I tell those kids, whatever happens in your life, never forget that you did something that's only been done 3 other times.
Incredible.
Incredible that they got to experience that. Incredible that I got to experience that as part of my career. Because there's so many coaches in this state and all over the country that coach for 30 years and never win a championship. And I know I'm blessed to be in a place that supports us well enough that we can almost, almost every year we're close. We're getting there. And the last 2 years, we've just, climbed that mountain. Our whole thing this year was we were at the summit of Mount Everest. And I told our team, this is my speech before we left on the bus. So at Mount Everest, if you get to base camp and don't get to the top, you didn't climb the mountain. Like when you went home and people said, did you make it? No, I didn't.
No.
So I said, we're at base camp right now. We're almost back-to-back state champs, but we will not be unless we get to the top of the mountain. And so that was our goal that day, was to make that last journey to the summit. I did not want to be happy with, we won one. Let's,
Right.
When we had a chance, we were going to get to the summit.
Hell yeah.
And those kids, look at that game. I mean, a crazy game. They never wavered. That's what I love about our team. They just never waver. They're always confident, always positive that things are going to happen, that the breaks are going to happen to them. And if they don't, we get over it really quick.
For sure. I love that.
That's the 6 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So,
do you have very many of your kids that are being recruited right now for college?
yes. So we've been lucky this last 10, 12 years, to have a bunch of great kids that have all the habits and qualities that coaches are looking for. Because we tell parents right off the bat that only 1% of kids are going to D1 football. Now, kids can go to FCS and FBS and D1 and D2, but only 7% of high school football players even get a chance to go to college. And when they all get there, they all think they're going to college. And the parents think their kid's going to college. And so it's a reality check when we say, this can't be your goal. Your goal is to be a great husband and father and win some football games. But if you get a chance to be a college student athlete, it's amazing. And it's hard. And we are blessed with the kids that get to do that quite a bit.
I love it.
And our kids go to college and are successful. They don't quit. They're prepared for college. They've been coached hard. My favorite thing is forged in fire. I coach hard, sometimes too hard. Like I'm almost going to break them. But I'm forging them in that fire. So when they're forged, then they could go out and compete freely.
For sure.
And, I love it when I see our kids be successful in college and get that opportunity to do that, because it's special.
Oh, it is. I feel like you're getting a lot of looks when our boys are going to the program.
We got a lot of players. Well, to be a good team, you got to have good players. I could say maybe I'm a good coach, but the years that I'm a really good coach, we got really good players.
Right.
I mean, we could win games with an average team, but to be an elite team and be in the semifinals and win state championships, you got to have players.
Right.
Every coach knows that. So we're blessed with great players. And what I'm really happy about with our kids is they get there in 8th grade and they are taught and role modeled that they work hard. And so now they have a chance.
Right.
You don't have a chance if you're not working hard.
I think you've done a good job too, surrounding yourself with great, your coach and your support staff.
I got a great staff.
Yes.
I got coaches that love kids. And, when you're a young coach, you want to hire coaches that know football. to be honest with you, you probably only need 3 or 4 coaches on your staff that really know football. Then you need 10 or 12 guys that are going to show up and love kids.
That's huge.
Yeah. Not everyone could be the boss,
Right.
right? You got to have a support team.
For sure.
And I got a staff. I'm hiring people based on, their positive attitude and their energy level, and if they're going to show up every day and love kids. Because when kids feel loved, they're going to work way harder. When kids feel loved and respected, they're going to let you coach them hard.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Well, now that you're in the gym, we need to close this up, but now that you're in the gym, you're looking up at those 2 banners.
Yeah.
What's going through your heart and your mind?
After the first one, it was weird. I felt relief.
It's understandable.
I know, and I don't know if that was the right emotion to feel, but I felt relief, like, okay, we finally won one. I'm validated as a coach. I don't think people have to win one to be validated as a coach. You could be a really good coach and not win one, but that's what I felt. Then after that, it was, I smiled for 5 months, and then we decided we need to get busy on the next one, and this one, I didn't feel relief. I just felt like, wow, we just did something that's really special with a group of kids and a group of coaches and a group of community, that's special. And so I just felt proud.
Awesome.
Relief, the first one, proud, the second one. I mean, I wish my mom could have seen them. I mean, my mom's been my biggest fan in my whole life. She's been to every game I've ever played or coached in. She flew all over the country when I was in college. Biggest supporter, no matter what. She always said I was the best coach and everything, So it's just kind of, that she's with me for 40 years of coaching, and then she passes away, and then we win too. But I always think that the thing I take that I think's helped me become a better coach these last 2 years is it is what it is. My mom passed away before she got to see me win championships, but maybe she made me a better person after she passed away, that I realized how she lived life, that it is what it is. When something bad happened, it is what it is, and get over it. And now that's kind of what I've taken into my own life. But I've had a lot of great people along the journey, and, I'm super blessed that I've met so many great people, and I'm just happy to be where I'm at. I love Sumner, and I love the people I get to work with, and I love the community, and I love the parents that I used to work with, and they still love Sumner football, and they're the people that came. They're the 10,000 people.
Right.
Yeah, the crazy parents.
Definitely have that title. Well, I'm so thankful you came on. We're running out of time. I think our battery might go dead, but thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome. I appreciate it.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Woohoo!
Thank you, Bobbie Jo.
If we have time or any battery life left, I was going to ask him a few trivia questions I thought for maybe for a short little video. If you have battery left.
Oh, yeah.